Welcome to the Innovation World Podcast, your go-to source for all things innovation, invention, and entrepreneurship. Our website is www.innovationworld.org.
Welcome to the Innovation World Podcast Season 3. My name is Julie Shively, and I'd like to introduce you to my co-host for today's show, Jake Mendelson.
Hello.
How are you tonight?
I'm very excited about Season 3. This is great.
Me too. I'm even more excited about our guest for Season 3. First-time podcaster with us anyway, Kristin Lehman from Hewitt Learning has joined us this evening. Hi, Kristin.
How are you?
I am wonderful, thank you. Thanks so much for joining us on our brand new year of podcast, and in fact, in the brand new year of 2021. Very excited that we made it this far, given the calamities that have happened since. So I just want to do a couple updates for Innovation World before we get started, Kristin. First of all, I encourage everyone to go out to innovationworld.org, look at our homepage. We have several really cool challenges going on right now. And let's see, one of them would be the Global Water Challenge. Our friends at inventfuture.global, which is a global collaborative organization, is hosting a water challenge that takes place 3 events, one in January, one in February, one in March, and this is for students ages 9 through 18. And it's an awesome opportunity for students to work with other students their age from around the world to help solve a problem. And in this case, it's aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 6, which is clean water and sanitation. So the kids will get together. They will bring problems that impact their country. Jake, I'm going to pass it to you for just a second to continue where I stopped, and I'm going to make this dog stop barking.
Okay, there we go. I had trouble unmuting myself. Yeah, it's really exciting. This is part of the United Nations, like Julie said, Sustainable Development Goals, and we are supporting the UN goals, and it's a wonderful program. It is wrapping up in the sense that the registration is almost done. So if you're watching this video a little bit later in the year and you realize that you have missed this water challenge, we are going to be running other challenges throughout the year. So please go to the Innovation World website in any case, whenever it is that you're watching this, and you'll see what the next event is going to be, because it's going to be a great opportunity for students and for the world, because they're going to be creating the next generation of inventors and innovators, and we're very excited about that. I'm
very sorry about that. We called in the dog helpers, and they're taking care of that one that was standing in the back door barking. The wonderful podcast that happened at home. So very genuine for sure. I did want to mention also that if you click on the water challenge on the Innovation World website, it now has links off to the inventfuture.global site, as well as a registration form right on the site. Fantastic opportunity. I think the deadline for signing up for this is the 10th of January. And we have 10 students total from the US that will be participating in this fabulous event. So looking for those 10 kids that can meet the challenge right now. Yes. Something else that's on the site that you will see more information coming by the 15th of the month is the National Innovators Challenge. That is the US challenge for innovators, and those kids will be able to provide entries for ideas, apps, or prototypes. And it's kind of cool. It's the first time we've opened it up to things other than inventions, and we're really kind of stoked about that. We think that there's a lot of kids out there that are doing different things, and we want to bring them all in to the fold, as many as we can anyway. One other update I want to tell you about: the Global Innovation Field Trip, also on the Innovation World website. Take a look at that. It's an opportunity to celebrate young innovators from across the world. This will be Global Innovation Field Trip, or GIFT number 4. We did 3 previous GIFT programs in 2020. The first one, we had 103 presenters, 81 presentations, from 15 different countries. And it's grown since then, and we're just super excited. It's a 24-hour event all about celebrating young innovators and the people and organizations who inspire innovation, like Kristin Lehman from Hewitt Learning. So let's segue into that, Kristin. And if you want to talk a little bit about what you do and how we came to collaborate, that would be great.
Absolutely. A little bit about my background first. I am what I call a reluctant homeschool parent. I was never one that was going to homeschool, but ended up with kids that wanted to or needed that, and discovered along the way the amazing potential for creativity and adaptability and meeting kids' needs in the homeschool process. I started out as a college teacher. I taught college math. And over the years in my journey with my kids, I ended up teaching everything from astronomy to kindergartners, all the way up to geometry to college seniors, on up to, I was a facilitator for SANG, supporting the emotional needs of the gifted model parent groups. And so I ended up teaching all age ranges. And through that, I came in contact with Invent Washington. And that was actually how I met Julie, was in a national collaboration between invention programs. And during my time at Invent Washington, I was able to pull together a lot of eclectic pieces of who I am and be able to help kids discover that creative process and that innovative process. Life doesn't always go as planned. And so I ended up not staying at Invent Washington, went back to college teaching for a while. And about a year ago, I made a transition at a time of transition for Hewitt Research Foundation. And Hewitt, what happened was their president and most of the board was wanting to retire. And so they decided to retire, hand the reins off to the next generation, basically. And in doing so, we moved the offices across the state of Washington. And when we did that, the server that hosted our website and all of our information crashed. And we had to basically reinvent the wheel to get our systems for this organization. Hewitt Research Foundation was actually founded in 1964 and started out as, like as the name says, a research foundation, with the focus on creating an innovative way for home learners to be able to adapt, to learn, meeting the needs of those home learners, those independent learners. One of the things Hewitt does is what's called the PASS test, Personal Achievement Summary System. It's a standardized test that's designed for homeschoolers, but even in the history of Hewitt, they were innovators. They said, okay, we need a standardized test, but we know kids aren't standard. We don't all fit into a box. Everybody's different. Learners are asynchronous. And so they designed a standardized test that lets a kid test at their level, that someone may be able to learn at a math at a 4th grade level, a language at a 7th grade level, and reading at an 8th grade level. And they'd be able to test and adapt within that. And so Hewitt has a history of looking at needs and meeting needs specifically within the Independent Learner Society, but meeting those needs in an innovative way. So when I came on board as the Director of Educational Services a year ago, and we had the whole need to rebuild after our server crash, we also decided to take that time to expand and continue meeting the needs of homeschoolers and independent learners. We have an excellent curriculum that we do, Lightning Lit, in literature, that charter schools across the nation use, actually in Canada, all around the world, independent learners use. But one of our holes was in the STEM field. And so I was looking for ways to be able to help meet the needs of independent learners. And I got back in touch with Julie with the Innovation World Alliance, and which she was creating. And it seemed like a perfect fit for us to be able to become a member of this alliance, to team with other organizations, and be able to not only expand Hewitt's reach as far as what we do, but to be able to meet more needs with the help of the other members of the alliance. Julie, do you want to say something about the alliance?
I just wanted to add that while I think the alliance does help your reach, what you bring to the table for the alliance is huge, because I know from my history in the K-12 space, and it's been about 20 years in K-12, from a drama program to invention convention to national invention convention, the homeschool market is such a fragmented market. There are little pockets everywhere, little groups, a lot of independent groups, and it's really hard from an outsider looking in to figure out how to reach that group. But you know this, and you know how to reach them. And so it's a huge asset to the alliance and to any alliance members. Now we have a connection that knows how to connect with those missing kids. And we want all of those kids to be a part of our program. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Home learners are not monolithic. They, we have everybody from people who like a structured schedule to people who are unschoolers and just go with the kids' desire to learn. And so, yeah, it's a vast range of people that consider themselves homeschoolers. Absolutely. So.
Yep. So, wanted to give a little bit, kind of segue into something for just a minute so that Kristin can segue back. But Innovation World has this National Innovator Challenge that I talked about earlier. And it's really designed for any student in the United States who wants to participate. What will happen is kids will come to this competition. They will it's virtual. Students will enter the competition though, and they will enter with an idea or an app or a prototype that they've designed. So a problem they've solved, and it's one of those means by which they've solved this problem. And they will come from other competitions around the United States. They will come from other programs, other school level programs or state level programs. They can come from wherever they want to come to participate in this program. The difficulty becomes how to reach out and find those kids and have the kids find the program. And so the Alliance has done is it's provided a pathway into the National Innovator Challenge. So the different Alliance member organizations can invite their students once they've completed their competition, or really for any way that they want to determine their students coming in, they have a path to get into the national program through those Alliance member programs. But there is not Alliance members in every corner of every state in the United States, unfortunately. So we want to make this program available to everybody out there. And one way to do that is to create a new path or invent a new path, maybe. And that's what Kristin has brought to us and said, hey, I have this way that maybe we can get all the other kids involved that don't have a path in already. And was born from that, the Independent Innovator program. And so segue it back to you then, Kristin, if you want to talk a little bit about that program, and then we'll jump in wherever we need to for you.
Sounds good. So during my time at Invent Washington, actually, I grew to really, like I said earlier, appreciate the educational value of the invention process, all the different pieces. And so I brought all of that experience to my time at Hewitt. And so when Julie mentioned this opportunity for the Independent Innovators, I went, this is fantastic. As an organization, Hewitt is trying to make educational resources accessible to everybody. Doesn't matter if they're doing public school online or public school at home, or if they're actually homeschooling, or if they're in a charter school, or wherever they happen to be. Our goal is to make educational resources accessible to everybody, like Julie just said. So in designing this program, we wanted to keep those educational desires first and foremost. And so in coming up with the components that we're requiring for the judging for the different pieces, and I'll get into that in a second, we wanted to make sure each piece that we required had a purpose for it, not just, oh, we need it to be able to judge you, but some way for the kid to be able to learn, grow, and be a part of that educational process. So currently, the Independent Innovator Challenge registration is open, but you will need a couple of pieces before you hit that submit button. So let me tell real quick the flow, and then I'll come back to those pieces you need to register. So once you register, you will get a confirmation that you are registered, and a team of independent volunteer judges will take a look at every single submission. Registration closes, I believe, end of February. The exact dates are on the website. And then it'll take about a month for all the judges to virtually judge all the pieces, all those components. And every single student who submits something will get feedback from a judge. They will get feedback on what they did well, something they can improve, that sort of thing. Every single student will get that. Then the top entries will get an invitation to a live event. That live event is going to be April 10th. And when I say live, we're going virtual. We're going just like everybody else. But the benefit of going virtual is that we can have people from around the nation, around the US, all come together in the same place in a way that we couldn't affordably otherwise. And so this is something, even when the pandemic ends, we will continue to do virtually because of the desire to bring so many different people together into one place. So there'll be a live Zoom event, and the students will be broken out in age grades depending on who registers in which age grades. And in those groups, they will be in a Zoom room with a judge, and that judge will be, or a team of judges, and those judges will be able to take notes. We've got a rubric that they'll evaluate, and the kids will be able to present their idea, app, or prototype for about 3 minutes. And then once they're done, the other kids in that Zoom room will actually be able to ask that kid questions about their product, about their process. And that feedback, that instantaneous feedback, is part of that learning journey as well. And being able to learn how to ask kids other questions, how to delve into that, is all part of the process. And then from that, the top innovations, ideas, apps, or prototypes will then advance to the nationals from us. So if this sounds like something that your kid is interested in, let's go back to, what do I need to do? How do I register? And there's a couple of pieces that you'll need to register. The first thing is a logbook or journal. And a lot of times when I say logbook or journal, people go, oh, do I need to go out and buy some fancy thing? And this is just a track record of your process. Many times kids see, and when I say kids, I mean all the way through 12th grade. Kids see the process, don't see the process. They say, oh, someone's got an idea, they're an overnight success. They don't realize it takes the years and years of hard work to become an overnight success. And so the logbook helps, or the journal helps, just document that process for them, and helps it break down and say, here's my brainstorm, here's where I did the research, here's who I asked for tweaks, here's who taught me how to weld so I could do this piece of the project. Here, all the different things. And so that logbook is, in my mind, a critical piece for the student, for the learner, a critical part of that learning process, because it teaches them so much. The next thing that we'll need is a pitch video, 2 to 3 minutes. And this one, the reason we wanted to include this is a lot of times kids get so excited about what they're interested in that they go on and on and on forever. And you can't, and they ramble, and you end up going, oh, come on, can we talk about something else? And the pitch video helps them learn how to condense it down and draw someone else in who might not be interested in the same thing they are. The pitch video helps engage other people and say, here's why you should find the problem that I solved a problem and why you should pay attention to my solution. And so it helps them condense that down into that short elevator pitch. So we've got a logbook or journal, we've got the pitch video, and then the next thing that you'll need to be able to submit the registration is a PowerPoint. You can do Google Slides, you can do Keynote, but you'll need to save it either as a PDF or as a PowerPoint presentation. And we're requiring it to be condensed down to 6 slides again. And very similar to that pitch, it helps the kids condense down the process side of things. So for those of you who've been to science fairs in the past and saw the big trifold display boards, this is the virtual version of that. It helps the kids take that whole big process that they recorded in the logbook and condense it down so they can communicate, here's what I did to brainstorm. Here's my design process. Here's the trial and error I came up with. Here's who I talked to see if my idea was a good idea, that sort of thing. For those who make it to the live event, they will then use that PowerPoint for their 2 to 3 minute presentation in the live Zoom event. But we are requiring it as part of the initial registration as well, because we find it to be a valuable part of that educational process. So logbook or journal, the pitch video, the presentation, a PowerPoint type thing. And then we will also need an image. Now, this is one that is just because we need it to be able to see what's going on because we're virtual. So if you've got an idea, then we need some sort of diagram or blueprint, some sort of illustration of what your idea is. If it's an app, then a screenshot of some of your code. If it's a prototype, then some pictures that show the critical pieces, kind of that overall piece idea to get an idea of what your prototype is. And then there's a $30 registration fee as well. People can register in teams, either individually or in teams of up to 3, but it's $30 per person, no matter how many people are on the team. So one person would be $30, 2 people would be 60. You get the idea. That basically just covers our costs of being able to provide this. We wanted to make this accessible to everybody, and so we wanted to keep the cost as low as possible as we were doing that. That being said, if something's an issue, talk to us. So yeah, those are the different pieces you'll need to register. Did I miss something on those pieces, Julie?
No, but I do have a question for you.
Okay. Yeah.
So for somebody who needs some advice or some tips on what might go in that logbook, or what might be included in the video, or what might be included in that up to no greater than 6 slide presentation. Right. I know that you created something that turned into a student handbook. It was a wonderful document. And where can they find this information? So the website Independent Innovators right now actually redirects to the Innovation World web page. And so all of our information right now is housed on that. You guys are so gracious to help us set up the web page and everything this year. So that Innovation World website has all of that under the Independent Innovator Challenge. There's a what is this section. There's a how do I register. There's a 12-page, I believe, student handbook that has some tips, has some guidelines, has what our privacy policy is, has a little bit of everything in there. And that is also, if they want to register, that's where you go. So independentinnovators.org is where you're going to go. And it'll redirect you to that page on the Innovation World website. And if somebody wants to reach out to you, whether it be a student or a parent or an educator that might want to get involved, whether this year's program or next year's program, what's the best email, Kristin, for them to reach out about this particular program? Independent Innovator at HewittLearning.org. Hewitt is 2 T's, HEWITT learning.org. Okay. So, yeah. Great. And then I did want to mention too, so that you did say that the students who the top innovators advancing from your competition will go to the National
Absolutely.
Innovators Challenge. But there's one more step even after that. So when the kids come into the National Innovators Challenge, then they have an opportunity to show their ideas and their apps and their prototypes. And top innovators will be selected from that program in June, and they will be advanced to the Global Innovation Challenge, which takes place September 25th, and which has an award ceremony on October 2nd in 2021. So fantastic opportunity for kids to take it to basically to the highest level you can go.
Absolutely.
We
And I want to
haven't come
add
up with
to
a galactic contest yet, but we're working on
we
it.
got to do that. I want to add too that the $30 registration fee for the Independent Innovator Challenge, out of that, we will cover your national entry charge as well. But if you do make it to globals, that will be a different fee as well. And
Very
I'm
nice.
not sure what that one is. So yeah, I'm guessing they have the same priorities as we do, wanting to make it affordable and accessible to everybody. So that's why we like being part of this program.
So Jake, what have we missed?
Well, I'm actually very disappointed because Kristin, what's the upper age limit? I can't participate in this, can I?
12th grade.
You just missed.
Oh, now that being said, I want to clarify, because in the homeschool world, not everybody has a grade level associated with them, and so we're saying K-12, and especially in the homeschool world, we're letting the parents decide where they fit within those grade levels. So I don't know if you have a parent that wants to claim you as a 12th grader, but I think that might be stretching it a little bit.
Well, that brings up another good point too. So if you have a student or if you have a team of students and one is in kindergarten and they're going to participate with their siblings in 4th and 5th grade, those students will be judged or measured at that 5th grade level, then the highest level on the team. So keep that in mind when you're pairing up kids. We certainly don't want to judge 5th graders at a kindergarten level, but we will judge kindergartners at a 5th grade level if they're
working on a team with 5th graders. Absolutely. I do want to put a request out there as well. If anybody wants to partner with us and provide a sponsorship, or says, hey, this sounds great, I want to be a volunteer judge, or anything, or even, hey, I know somebody else who's interested in that. We'd love you to pass the word along. And if you know of somebody who wants to sponsor an award at the end of the ceremony, anything like that, we'd love anybody who wants to do that as well.
And
that's fantastic.
Kristin, this is open to all students, right? Mm-hmm. If you happen to be a student who is actually in a school, you can still participate?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We are not limited to just homeschoolers. This is all independent. What we're saying, it's independent learners. So if you're in a school and your school doesn't have a program that you can go through, come with us. Absolutely. If you're doing public school at home, distance learning, come with us. I mean, it's anybody who doesn't have a program to go through, no matter where they're at. Yeah.
And there are about 16 Alliance members across the United States right now. So when you first come to the Independent Innovator Challenge site, there's an opportunity for you to fill out a really short form, just kind of says where you are. And it'll come out to us. I think Kristin responds to them really quickly to let you know whether you need to go through an Alliance member organization to participate in the National Innovator Challenge. And if not, then she's going to put you in her contest, because she wants to make sure every student out there has a pathway to the nationals and ultimately a pathway to the global and someday galactic competitions.
Yeah, when you say respond really quickly, give me about 24 hours. It might be 2 hours, it might be an hour, but it's usually
sometimes
within about 24.
It takes us that long to figure out if we have an Alliance member in the area, because that program is growing pretty quickly.
Yep. So.
Well, wonderful. Yeah. I'm very excited about it. So everybody should be on their web pages right now or on their browser looking up innovationworld.org, going to either the homepage or the events page and clicking on the Independent Innovator Challenge. Click on the water challenge while you're there as well. We've got 5 more days. Only 10 students from the entire United States will be invited to participate, 100 students across the world. It's a very, very cool event, something you don't want to miss. And you get to collaborate with people from different countries that are, have different lives and different things that impact them, and maybe earn some friendships for the rest of your life out of it too. It's just a really cool opportunity, and so happy that we could partner with inventfuture.global on that. And Jake, thank you for that opportunity. And
No, thank you. This is exciting. You have no idea. This is great.
all right.
I think in the end, COVID is going to turn out to be a good thing, because this is something we were sort of thinking about, but this really pushed us off the chair and made us really start to take the steps to make it happen. So this is good.
Hard things are often the catalyst for innovative ideas.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Great.
Well, I'm very happy to be able to team up with the two of you on some of these hard ideas that we've brought to fruition so far, and look forward to many more collaborations. And with that, we'll sign off the first podcast of season 3 of Innovation World. And y'all take care.
Thank you for joining us today for the Innovation World podcast. Innovation World is your go-to source for all things innovation, invention, and entrepreneurship. Our website is www.innovationworld.org.